Cybersecurity Monthly News, December 2025 by DuoCircle.com. Toddycat APT adopts new techniques to steal corporate email data. Toddycat, an advanced persistent threat active since 2020, is using new tools to steal corporate email data and authentication tokens while avoiding detection. The group uses TC sector copy to extract Outlook OST files by bypassing file locks, and a PowerShell Tumblr variant to steal browser data and credentials. Toddycat steals Microsoft 365 Auth tokens from memory to maintain long-term cloud access. Harvard University reports data breach affecting alumni and community members. Harvard University disclosed a data breach within its alumni affairs and development systems that exposed personal information of alumni, donors, students, parents, and staff. The breach exposed fundraising and engagement data after a phone phishing attack, but no highly sensitive information. Harvard stopped the intrusion, found no further suspicious activity, began notifying affected individuals on November 22, and is working with experts and law enforcement to investigate. Vendor breach at Citizens exposes corporate data from leading banks. Citus AMC reported a breach where an attacker accessed its systems, potentially exposing corporate records, legal agreements, and some client data from major financial institutions. The company tightened security, involved investigators, and confirmed no ransomware and no service impact. The FBI is assisting with the investigation. Affected banks have been notified, and experts warn the incident highlights growing risks from stealthy data theft to attacks targeting third-party vendors. Ransomware hit on Asahi leads to 2 million people data theft. Asahi said a late September ransomware attack stole personal data of about 2 million people, with the Killen Group claiming it stole 27 GB of data. The breach exposed names, addresses, and phone numbers for over 1.5 million support contacts, plus data on employees, their families, and others tied to company services. Asahi is slowly restoring systems, tightening security, and experts warn the stolen data could still be leaked if the ransom is not paid. OpenAI confirms exposure of user information after Mixpanel breach. OpenAI notified some customers after a security incident at its analytics provider. Mixpanel led to the exposure of limited user information following a smishing attack. OpenAI systems unaffected, sensitive data secure, but names, emails, devices, and locations accessed. OpenAI has removed Mixpanel from its production environment, is assessing the impact with the vendor, and is warning users to remain vigilant against potential phishing attempts. React 2 shell vulnerability exposes React and Next. J's apps to RCE. React 2 shell vulnerability in React Server Components Flight Protocol allows unauthenticated RCE in some React Next.js apps. React 2 shell flaw, CVE 202555182, CVE 202566478, from insecure deserialization hits React 19.x and early Next.j 15.x16.docs.x. Vendors have issued patches, and organizations are urged to rapidly upgrade and treat unpatched applications as high-risk assets. Coded ransomware attack disrupts emergency alert services. The OnSolve Coded Emergency Notification Platform suffered a ransomware attack that caused service outages and exposed user data, disrupting alerts for several local governments. INC Ransom claimed access to customer emails and clear text passwords, leading Crisis 24 to shut down legacy systems and isolate code red. The incident highlights the serious risks to life safety systems posed by insecure credential storage and the need for strong password practices and multi-factor authentication. Coupang investigates 5-month breach, impacting 33.7 million customers. Coupang disclosed a prolonged data breach that allowed attackers to access customer information for approximately 33.7 million users over a 5-month period. Exposed data included names, contact details, addresses, and order history, though payment information and login credentials were not compromised. The company has contained the breach, notified regulators and users, and reports suggest a former employee may be involved, though the investigation is ongoing. Array Networks desktop direct vulnerability exploited in the wild. Attackers exploit command injection in array networks, AG series gateways desktop direct feature for remote command execution on unpatched devices. The flaw affects Arrayos versions 9.4.5.8 and earlier and has been used to deploy web shells with activity linked to a known IP address. Customers are advised to upgrade immediately or disable desktop, direct, and apply interim mitigations if patching is not possible. King Addon's WordPress plugin hit by critical flaw, exploited in the wild. King Addons for Elementor plugin's critical vuln enables unauthenticated attackers to create admin accounts and fully compromise WordPress sites, tracked as CVE 202584889. The flaw impacts versions 24.12.92 through 51.1.14 and has already seen tens of thousands of exploit attempts in the wild. Site owners are urged to update to the fixed version, audit administrator accounts, and check for signs of malicious activity. Microsoft wraps up 2025 with critical fixes for Windows, PowerShell, and Copilot tooling. Microsoft's December 2025 patch Tuesday fixes 56 vulnerabilities, including 3 critical and exploited zero-day CVE 202562221 for Windows Cloud Files privilege escalation to system. Microsoft Patch Tuesday also patches 0 days CVE 202554100, PowerShell injection, and CVE 202564671, Copilot prompt injection data leak. Security agencies have added the exploited flaw to known exploited catalogs, urging urgent patching amid a broad, multi-vendor update cycle. Chrome 0-day under active attack prompts urgent Google security update. Google released an emergency Chrome update to fix a high-severity 0-day vulnerability actively exploited in the wild, updating stable builds to version 143.0.7000, 499.109.1110. The flaw, tracked as issue 466,192,044, remains under coordinated disclosure, with technical details withheld to limit further exploitation while users patch. The update also fixes 2 medium severity bugs affecting the Chrome password manager and toolbar, and users are urged to restart Chrome after updating. Authentication bypass and code execution risks discovered in major enterprise platforms. Fortinet, Ivanti, and SAP issued critical patches for vulnerabilities that could enable authentication bypass or remote code execution across widely deployed enterprise platforms. Fortinet patched high-severity FortiCloud SSO bypass flaws. Ivanti fixed critical XSS and RCE in Endpoint Manager. SAP resolved 14 vulnerabilities, including 3 critical. Given these vendors' histories of active exploitation, organizations are strongly advised to prioritize patching and apply interim mitigations where available. Intel and AMD confirm exposure to PCED specification vulnerabilities. 3 low-severity CI 6.0 IDE spec flaws could enable data exposure, privilege escalation, or DAS under specific conditions. Tracked as CVE 20259,612, CVE 20259,613, and CVE 20259,614. The issues require physical or very low-level access, limiting their practicality to targeted attacks. Intel and AMD confirmed impact on certain Xeon and EPY C9005 processors, with firmware updates expected following PCISIG guidance. GOG 0-day exploited at scale with supershell malware and GitHub token abuse. A high-severity 0-day vulnerability in GOG's CVE 2025-8110 is being actively exploited to overwrite arbitrary files and achieve remote code execution via a flaw in the put contents API. Attackers exploited symlink flaws in hundreds of exposed GOG's instances, deploying supershell malware for reverse SSH access in a smash and grab campaign. No patch yet. Restrict access, disable open registration, monitor suspicious repos, and guard against leaked GitHub PAT abuse. Cisco Asyncos 0-day exploited in the wild. Cisco disclosed active exploitation of a critical Asyncos 0-day CVE 2025-20393, CVSS 10.0, affecting Secure Email Gateway and Secure Email in Web Manager, allowing attackers to gain root-level command execution. Exploitation requires the spam quarantine feature to be enabled and internet exposed, with attackers deploying tunneling tools, erasing logs, and installing a Python backdoor called Aqua Shell for persistence. Until patches are released, Cisco urges reducing exposure, tightening access controls, monitoring logs, and rebuilding compromised appliances, while CISA has added the flaw to its known exploited vulnerabilities list with a December 24, 2025 deadline. SonicWall SMA fix targets exploited privilege escalation flaw. SonicWall released updates for SMA 100 series appliances to fix CVE 2025-40602, a local privilege escalation flaw actively exploited in combination with CVE 2025-23006 to achieve unauthenticated root level remote code execution. Affected versions include SMA 12.4.3393 and earlier and 12.5.022 and earlier, with fixes now available in versions 12.4.33245 and 12.5.02283. The vulnerability is listed by CISA as exploited in the wild with a December 24, 2025 remediation deadline, though SonicWall has not disclosed the scope or actors behind the attacks. OXPE patches critical OnaView remote code execution bug. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise patched a critical OnaView vulnerability, CVE 2025-37164, CVSS 10.0, that allows unauthenticated remote code execution in all versions prior to 11.0. The company released OnaView 11.0 along with hotfixes for versions 5.20 through 10.20, noting that hotfixes must be reapplied after certain upgrades or Synergy Composer reimaging. Although no active exploitation has been reported, HPE advised customers to patch promptly due to the severity of the flaw. SoundCloud confirms breach behind outages and VPN blocks. SoundCloud confirmed that recent outages and VPN access blocks were linked to a breach involving unauthorized access to an ancillary service dashboard. The incident exposed email addresses and basic profile details of about 20% of users, roughly 28 million accounts, but did not compromise passwords or financial data. SoundCloud said the Shiny Hunters group is responsible. Access has been cut off. Additional security measures are in place, and VPN issues stemmed from response-related configuration changes. University of Sydney Code Repository breach exposes personal data. University of Sydney reported that attackers accessed an online code repository and downloaded files containing personal data of staff, students, alumni, and affiliates. More than 27,000 individuals are affected, with exposed information including names, dates of birth, contact details, addresses, and employment-related data, though no misuse has been detected so far. The university has notified regulators, begun personalized notifications, launched support services, and advised affected individuals to remain vigilant and strengthen account security. Spotify scraping claim and copyright dispute. Anna's archive claims it scraped 86 million Spotify audio files and 256 million metadata records and plans to share them via torrents as a preservation archive. Spotify said it blocked unlawful scraping activity, disabled the accounts involved, and does not believe the accessed audio has been released. Observers warn the dataset could attract AI developers for training purposes, intensifying calls for transparency as governments prepare new AI copyright policy proposals by March 2026. Critical N8N vulnerability enables code execution. A critical flaw in the N8N platform, tracked as CVE 202568613 and rated CVSS 9.9, could allow authenticated users to execute arbitrary code under certain conditions. The issue affects versions 0.211.0 through 1.120.3 and could lead to full system compromise, data theft, and workflow manipulation. Patches are available in versions 1.120.4, 1.121.1, and 1.122.0, and users are urged to update immediately or restrict workflow permission and harden deployments. MaxSync Stealer disguised as signed MacOS installer. Researchers identified a new MaxSync malware variant distributed as a signed and notarized Swift app posing as a messaging installer, allowing it to bypass Apple Gatekeeper protections. The malware performs system checks, removes quarantine flags, and downloads a Go-based payload used for data theft and remote command and control. Apple has since revoked the abused code signing certificate after the campaign was uncovered. Nissan confirms GitLab-linked data breach. Nissan confirmed a data breach stemming from unauthorized access to a self-managed GitLab instance used by a Red Hat consulting team. The incident exposed personal information of about 21,000 Nissan Fukuoka sales customers, including names, addresses, phone numbers, and partial email addresses, but no payment data. Nissan reported the breach to authorities, began notifying affected individuals, and said it could not verify claims that the data had been reused by attackers. Malicious Chrome extensions posing as VPN services. Security researchers found two malicious Google Chrome extensions, Phantom Shuttle, marketed as VPN or network testing tools, while secretly intercepting traffic and credentials. After users paid for VIP access, the extensions routed traffic for over 170 domains through attacker-controlled proxies using hard-coded credentials. Experts advise users to uninstall the extensions immediately and urge organizations to strictly control browser add-ons and proxy permissions. For cybersecurity-related solutions, please visit us at DuoCircle.com today. You can call us at 1-855-700-1386 or email support@duocircle.com.